All right, like the direction said, you get to kind of make a little bit of your own now. So make sure you have a paper, pencil, and don't necessarily need to take up the whole paper, but don't make it too tiny either. So first, this table here shows the ages of the Best Actress winners. So now we're talking about the women here. From 1986 to 2009, how many of the winners were under 40 years old? So I don't need you to make this table, but I do need you to make this table. This is called a frequency table. And as you can see, it has two kind of subtitles here to it. One is called intervals, and these were the things that I already talked about. And the other is frequency. So all you need to do is fill in the 1, 2, 3, 4 blanks that you see. So let me just make sure you understand what you're doing here. So the reason this one says 7 is because if you go up here, you can count that there are 7 numbers in this table that are between 20 and 29. So that's why I put a little 7 there. The reason there is 0 is because there were 0 winners for Best Actress for women in their 50s. And the reason there is a 1 here is because there was 1 winner for Best Actress for a woman in her 80s. So you need to fill in these 4 things. So make this on your paper. Fill in everything exactly as you see it here, and then fill in these 4 blanks. So what I'll do now is I'll make that a little bigger for you. This is the original data table, so now you can see it a little bit easier. And you could hit pause and fill in the rest of your frequency table, which is that thing that I asked you to make on your paper. Okay, so hopefully you figured out the answers. Now we're going to see if your answers on your paper match what you should actually have. So we'll go back, but this time we have in pink the true answers here. So you should have a 10 for actresses in their 30s, 5 for actresses in their 40s, only 1 actress in her 60s, and then no actresses in their 70s won this award. So these are the missing numbers that you should have. So that's your first step when you're making a histogram, is make what's called a frequency table to kind of make it a little bit easier on yourself. Now let's convert that into a histogram. So again, on your paper, you're going to have to do some construction here. I want you to make this on your paper. You don't have to use a ruler necessarily, but try and make it as straight as possible. A histogram, just like a bar graph, has a title at the top, and it also has titles on the y-axis and x-axis. So frequency and age. And then here we're going to have 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We're counting by twos is our scale. And down here we have all of our intervals. Then you have the three bars. And remember, they are touching. And we're getting all of this information from this table that you guys made on your paper. So I shouldn't necessarily need to go back for you to make this stuff. So you can copy these 3 bars. What they want you to do is to fill in any of the other bars here. So if they had zeros, you wouldn't put a bar there. But there's 4 intervals here that either will not get bars or will get bars. So based off what you see in your data table, please, once you've made this on your paper, hit pause and then finish this, and then we'll unpause and we'll see what the answer is. So hopefully you finished it, and this should be your finished product here. Pretty much everything you copied from me before, and all you really had to add was a little 1 right here representing that 1 actress in her 60s, and a 1 here representing the actress in her 80s. Now, the bars are not touching each other right here, and this is the only time it's acceptable in a histogram for the bars to not touch, is when there is no data. There's no one in their 70s or 50s that won. Okay, so how many winners were under 40 years old? Well, we got to count the bars that represent the ages under 40. So that means the 20s and the 30s. As you can see, there are 7 people in their 20s, and you know that because it's right here, halfway between 6 and 8, and halfway between 6 and 8 is 7. And then there's 10 women in their 30s, so 10 plus 7 is 17. There's 17 women that won the Best Actress Award under 40.